Hey folks, it's Matt once again. Welcome back to another review for the Stallone Marathon for my birthday month. And the reason the lighting and camera may be weird is, of course, I want to get this in focus for Cobra. Love this movie to death. I remember the first time I reviewed this film, maybe not the first time, but in previous review, I said this was my favorite film of all time. Granted, films like Hard Target took that over, and it's hard to pick which is my favorite Stallone, this one or Rambo First Blood Part 2. But I will say, this is still one of my favorite films of all time. I love this film to death. I know when the film came out, it was garnered as a box office disappointment by Warner Brothers because the previous year he had Rambo 2 and Rocky 4, and they made over $100 million in the US alone. While when this film came out, it only made about $49 million in the US alone. So Warner Bros. Felt it was a disappointment. I know even a little bit after Stone said there was going to be a Cobra 2. I don't know why that never happened. I mean, when by 87 he was still talking about a Cobra 2, I'm sure it would have been able to get made, but he just never did it. But of course, this came out in 1986, which I think is a great year for movies. Because you had Aliens, you had Big Trouble in Little China, you had The Golden Child. This came out around the same time as Top Gun. And I know quite a bit of this film was cut out because this film is only an hour and 27 minutes. But I know a very nice guy named Jack Craven. I'll try to put his video down below, which he has a lot of very interesting info on the film. He mentioned that there was a 2-hour work print, and he had seen it once about a decade or so ago. And by the way, there apparently with that work print, there was a lot of stuff cut out, violence cut out. Stallone himself cut stuff out because to make the film shorter so that it would get more screenings, because more showings in the theater, I should say, because Top Gun was coming out and they wanted to beat Top Gun, which they did not. I desperately want to see that 2-hour cut. And if anyone out there has it, I'm begging you. I am begging you. Please somehow upload it. Even if you have it on a VHS and you cannot put it on a DVD-R, put your VHS in your player, play it, put a webcam, put it on the TV, and record it that way, and then upload it. It wouldn't be the best quality. It's a work print. Of course, not be best quality, but I want to at least be able to see it. I remember when I first saw the work print of Hard Target, it blew me the fuck away. And that's why it became, and then I made my own version with the theatrical work print, and that went to #1 favorite, and Cobra went to like number 2 or 3. I want to see the work print of Cobra. I want to see all the stuff that was cut out. Even the soundtrack has a piece of music by the Sylvester Stallone called Skyline, which is not in the movie. Just the scene that was going to be a part of it was cut out, and then there's talks of maybe it was going to be at the end credits as well. And I want to see. I did see the TV cut, which has a couple of stuff put in. For example, what the villain Brian Thompson does as a day job, cleaning fish market. Also, a scene where a little boy went to a police station and he had a box and he gave it to police, and you find out that there were hands in the box. So that was in the TV cut. But I want to see the work print. Again, if you're out there and you have it and you don't want to put it on DVD-R, do what I did with my playthrough of Alien Isolation. Just put the webcam, zoom it to the TV, record it, upload it, put it on some site. Even if it was just for 2 weeks or a week for us to download it and spread it around. Because Warner Brothers is not going to do anything with this. You think Warner Brothers is going to do shit? Hell no. But so if anyone out there has it, that's my #1 thing. That's the holy grail for me, is to see that work print. It was to see the Hard Target. I was lucky enough to do that. Please let us see the Cobra work print. I'm begging. The other one is to see the shit cut out and stuff like Demolition Man, like the fight between Stallone and Jesse Ventura. But if I had to pick one, it'd be the Cobra work print, the over 2 hour work print. Please. Please. Somehow, some way, some form, someone who owns it sees this. Please. But get into the film. I love this film to death. I love that it's, to me, an icon of 80s action. It really is. When people ask me how to describe an 80s action movie, I'm like, watch Cobra. It's what I love about 80s action. And I love it sincerely. Not in, oh, it's so bad, so good, it's cheesy, it's corny. Fuck that. To me, it's so good, it's badass. It's so great, it's kick-ass. I love the poster design, such an iconic look. I love the lines of dialogue. This is where the law stops, and I start. Sucker. Or, you're a disease, and I'm the cure. There's some fun bits of humor on purpose, some levity. You know what your problem is? You're too violent. Or, I had it on the tip of my tongue. You have an attitude problem, Cobretti? Yeah, but it's just a little one. I love that. I love the action, the sequence at the end when he's on the back of the pickup truck with this machine gun, which is I think it's called a Jatomatic machine gun, which I've never seen in a movie before or since. Which I love it because it makes this film unique. And he's just using this gun, shooting the shit out of these assholes on the back of a pickup truck. At the end, he's hunting people down. I love the fact that this is like a slasher horror movie mixed in with an action film. I love the score by Sylvester Stallone because it has moments that sound like a horror film, but then the action beats work as well. It's one of my favorite soundtracks. You have Angel of the City, you have Feel the Heat, you have Voice of America's Sons, even songs like Loving on Borrowed Time. I love the soundtrack to this. I love the montages when they're looking to, whether it's to Feel the Heat or Angel of the City, when they're looking for information. You have the bad guys doing their thing. Brian Thompson, I know he had problems with Sly making this, and he had problems making it, but I think he did a great job as the villain. He was intimidating, he was scary, he was a guy I did not want to fuck with. His knife, actually, someone long ago sent me that knife. I mean, not the actual knife, but a replica of the knife. I don't want to show it because I don't want to get in trouble for showing anything, but it's the knife with the... I love that. It's a knife that has these sharp points on the handle. So even if you just wanted to punch someone, it'd be dangerous. It's just cool. To me, it's an epitome of cool. Don't cut a pizza normally. Cut it with scissors. I mean, even these glasses I think are cool. They fit well with him. I love his outfit. I love the Cobra symbol on his gun. I love the statistics at the beginning of the film, which now I want to find so I can say it. I love the look of the beginning of the movie. I know this tells that George P. Cosmatos didn't really direct it. It was more Stallone. Whoever directed it, I think they did a great job. I love the film so much. Try to look up quotes for it. That opening. I love the look at the beginning where the sky is red as this, blood red, and that brings more of the horror element to it, which I love. I love that it feels like a slasher movie at times. It really does. And I'm trying to see if I can find that. Yeah. In America, there's a burglary every 11 seconds, an armed robbery every 65 seconds, a violent crime every 25 seconds, a murder every 24 minutes, and 250 rapes a day. And you could tell this was his ode to Dirty Harry. Even the opening, was it Magnum Force? One of the openings had the gun where it went towards camera and is shot. So, and it was an ode to Dirty Harry because Reni Santoni was Dirty Harry's partner in the first film, and he's Cobra's partner in this. Andrew Robinson, who's he was the villain in Dirty Harry. He's here as a sort of higher up cop, along with Art LaFleur. which I enjoy him. He was in The Blob from 1988, Trancers, and many other films. Art LaFleur. He's a really good character actor. And I was supposed to see Anthony Robinson, Anthony, Andrew Robinson, and Reni Santoni. Brigitte Nielsen, I know she gets a lot of flack. I think she did perfectly fine. In fact, I think this is one of her better roles. I definitely think she did better here than Red Sonja. She had more to do here than in Rocky IV. I think she did fine. And because her and Stallone were together, I thought they had some nice little chemistry with each other. I really do. It was loosely based on Fair Game by Paula Gosling, as in really nothing at all. And then they made that shitty movie, Fair Game, with Cindy Crawford. But I love the way it opens, where this guy fucks up people at the supermarket, and Stallone with his, the awesome 50 license plate in his car. I love that car. It's such a cool car with his nitrous oxide. I love that car. Love that car so much that he drives. Like a Mercury. I think it's a Mercury. Could be wrong on that. And his coming in, he's got the matchstick in his mouth. He comes in and he's like, "You're a lousy shot. I don't like lousy shots. You wasted the kid for nothing. Now I think it's time to waste you." And then he comes in from, I think, like the cooler or something, and the bad guy has his bomb. "I'll blow this place up." "That's all right. I don't shop here. I'm a hero of the free world." "You're a disease, and I'm the cure." Shoots the shower, ba 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 ba. I know that not only because Stallone, those studios cut some stuff down, the MPA had a hand in well. That's why I want to see the uncut version. I begged to see that. Even, hell, again, all you have to do is play your movie and put the webcam on the TV. That's all you have to do, whoever owns it. I don't know what they're holding out on, or they're just being greedy. Please. Please, I beg you. And he comes in, I love how, reporters are giving him shit. But he's like, why don't you tell that to his family, huh? Why don't you tell him that? And he goes home, and you have that one guy who parks in front of his spot. You have, that's dangerous for your health. "What is, pinche?" "Me," just rips his shirt. And I know there's a mistake. You do see a wire, which I think a friend of mine once said, "Oh my God, he was undercover and he blew his cover." So that way the guy's going to die. Although you do see him in a scene later on. But that's how maybe the guy's undercover. It's because they fucked up. They fucked that up. But, so, while it may not be perfect cinema-wise, to me it's fucking awesome entertainment-wise. And I know I've heard that the guy who directed Drive, that he was a fan of this. Which, hell, you could do today a Cobra 2 with that director, Nicholas Winding Refn. Just don't have him write it. And have Stallone star in it. Have him be retired from the zombie squad. And he's got to do one last case because of his family member or someone he knows, or a granddaughter or a daughter, or someone gets murdered, and he goes into this vile world and fucks everything up as the Cobra. They're a disease, and to meet the cure one more time. But you'll never see that. But a little bit there. I just love a lot of stuff. I love that. That's what I mean. If you don't take the movie that we've seen many times before, a cop going against a serial killer, do stuff that's unique. Okay, cutting up a pizza. No, have him come up with scissors. The bad guys, let them be these intimidating guys. Brian Thompson is a scary motherfucker. And have the tone really be like a slasher movie. And have the knife be this really wicked looking knife with these studs on the handle. And they start killing people off one by one. Brigitte Nielsen becomes a witness. I like the rapport between Stallone and his buddy, where Andrew Robinson leaves. He was a dickhead, and Reni Santoni's like, You know, when this is over, I'd like to go over there and punch a hole through his chest. And then Sly's like, you know what your problem is? You're too violent. It's all this sugar you're eating, all this shit you're eating. You try some fish. Stallone meets up with Brigitte Nielsen. I thought Brigitte Nielsen did fine. I don't really get the flack for her for this movie. I think she did perfectly fine. I liked her look. In fact, I think it's the best she looked. I liked the hairstyle she had. I mean, it works. The different hairstyle works, for example, Beverly Hills Cop 2. That's a tall bitch. Like, that works at that. Here, I like her hair color and the way her hair was. And I thought she looked the greatest in this movie, to be honest. And I thought this is my favorite role of hers. I thought she did fine, great in this movie, actually. I don't have a problem like a lot of people had with it. And you have some really good action set pieces. You have when Stallone's at his place with that great big neon sign. And these bad guys come in and Stallone beats the shit out of some, shoots some. And I think a little bit of that's cut out, which I would like to see more of. And he's racing down to get to the hospital where Brigitte Nielsen's at. And meanwhile, there's this cat and mouse chase between Brian Thompson, kills this nurse. I like the way it's shot because it's shot like a slasher movie. I love that. It has that feel to it, that dark tone, which I love. And I think it's a good looking movie. I think the cinematographer, Rick Wade, did a good job with it. Let's see, Stallone gets there in the nick of time. And I love the fact that the killers are this cult of killers that could be anybody. And that's the point, is that even one of them is this bitch who works for the police department. And that's the point, is that it's this new world order that could be anybody. And people, well, why do they do this? And why do they do that? Because they're insane. If they did sane things, then they would not be insane. But that doesn't make sense. That's why they're insane. Insane people do not do stuff that makes sense. If they did stuff that made sense, then they would not be insane in the first place. So, and granted, I know there are movies that I've complained about that someone could say the same thing about it, but it's just either you're into the movie or you're not into the movie. I'm absolutely into this movie. Because of its short running time, it goes by at an extremely fast pace. Great action. The car chase, I think, is one of the best, most underrated car chases out there. I really do. Stallone and Brigitte Nielsen in this badass car chasing Brian Thompson, and they go through like this garage, and Stallone's car goes off the second floor to the ground when they're jumping up, and at one point Stallone's car hits the lights, like the red, green, yellow lights, or maybe it hits that, or it hits like a telephone, like it hits something. I forget exactly. Maybe it was like a sign, like it's a sign. I can't remember exactly, but it hits that and smashes it. Shows how high they're going. Before that, when he does the 180, gets his machine gun, blows up this one car and it flips over. This really narrow car chase in this alleyway. I love that scene. I love it. It's a fantastic car chase. Excellent car chase. Love it. Which I know there's a bit at the end of there that's cut out that I would love to see in the work print. And I could give info, but check out his Jack Craven's video, and he did a much better job than I could have. And it's one of those films that I love it so much. I've reviewed it before for like over an hour. I did a fan commentary for this. They're still on my channel. For those who want to know even more in-depth thoughts, you listen to my commentary that's on the channel for this film. You can watch a review I did. And then even on this other channel, The Sausage Factory, they did a commentary and I was a part of it. And so it was the second time I did a commentary on it. I love this movie that much. Because it just did everything that I want in an action film. I got a scary, intimidating bad guy. I got a badass, iconic hero. I got great lines of dialogue. This is where law stops and I start, sucker. It has moments of levity, but at the same time, it has a great element of horror, slasher, and action, which I love those two genres, especially when they blend together. It has great action set pieces, has a wonderful car chase. I love the finale of the film, where they're in this house and it's a siege, and Stallone's fucking up people left and right with his machine gun, throwing grenades, going on the back of a pickup truck, mowing everybody down. You get to this sort of, what do you call it, sort of a warehouse, and he's stabbing people, he's burning people up, he douses people in gasoline. You have the right to remain silent. Gets his matchstick and burns the fucker. You have Brian Thompson with his speech, which I liked. You want to go to hell? Huh, pig? You want to go to hell with me? Doesn't matter, does it? We're the hunters. We kill the weak, so the strong survive. You can't stop the new world. Your filthy society will never get rid of people like us. It's breeding them. We are the future. And the side goes, no, you're history. You can't do it. Murder is against the law. You know, the court is civilized, isn't it, pig? But I'm not. This is where the law stops and I start. Sucker. I know I keep saying that line because I love that fucking line of dialogue. I love it. And beats the fuck out of the guy, slams him into this hook, which I can see was cut down by the MPAA, which again was why I would love to see the uncut version. But that's a great way to kill your bad guy. Impale him on this big ass hook. And not only that, he's still alive. Let him slowly get burned to death as well. And then satisfying ending. Reni Santoni's alive and he wants his gummy bears. Andrew Robinson gets his comeuppance for being a dick because Sly punches him. No hard feelings. Him and Brigitte Nielsen get on a motorcycle. They go off to the sunset to, I love the song, Voice of America's Sons. Da, da, da. And if you're wondering, the Blu-ray doesn't have much. It has a very boring commentary by George P. Cosmatos. I love George P. Cosmatos, may he rest in peace, but his commentaries are very boring. You have like a 4-minute featurette from back in the day, and you have a trailer. But I wanted this film on Blu-ray because it's one of my favorite films ever. And I thought the picture quality was fine. But yeah, this isn't going to get much of anything in the future, which is a shame. That's why I'm anybody who has that work print, please, please, please. And this is why I was so disappointed with Judge Dredd, because I'm like, he did Judge Dredd. And this one. You know, strong arm of the law. Crime is the disease, meet the cure. That's Judge Dredd. I'm like, he played Judge Dredd. So, to me, it'd be a natural fit, and it wasn't. Which I'll get to that. I know some people like the film. I prefer Dredd with Carl Urban. And I'm like, he did Judge Dredd. This is his Judge Dredd. If you want to see Stallone's Judge Dredd, this is Judge Dredd. This is his Judge Dredd. It is. Yeah, I think it's a classic movie. I love just, to me, everything was just like kind of, the car was memorable. The gun, the Jatomatic is memorable. The lines of dialogue are memorable. The look of the film with the red sky, the montages and soundtrack of Angels of the City, Feel the Heat, Voice of America's Sons, the action set pieces, has a fantastic car chase, has a rousing fun finale, has a scary villain, has a slasher horror element, has a great good guy that's iconic and badass and full of machismo testosterone that I sincerely love the way it was intended. It's a very short film. It goes at a very fast pace. It's just such a badass fucking movie. And I will put in the links down below Jack Craven's video where he gives some info on the deleted stuff and shows a little bit of footage from the TV cut. My fan commentary for those who want to listen, and my previous review of the film, which is again like I forget how long it was, actually. I have to look it up. And so again, for those who want to hear more of my thoughts, feel free to check any of that stuff out. But yeah, I did movie review. Top 10 reasons why it's one of my favorite all-time, one of my favorite, one of my, top 10 reasons why it's one of my favorites of all time. It's like 52 minutes long, 5 years ago. So, and then I did a review like 6, 7 years ago, which was in 2 parts. But yeah, I love this film to death. I think it's, when I think of an 80s action film or action films in general, this is what I want from them. Everything I said, the hero, the villain, the action, the pacing, the music, the look and style, the feel. It's not jokey. I don't think it's corny. I don't think it's cheesy. I don't think it's jokey. It's dark, it's serious, it's badass, it's violent. I want to see more of the violence. This is why I want to see the work print version. I guess this band of killers. And just when I was growing up as a kid, this is what made me love action films. Watching this and Rambo 2 and Hard Target. And so this is what got me into movies, let alone action movies. This is what I love about it. In a way, these are sort of my comic book movies. You know, comic book movies of nowadays, these are mine. This movie, that movie, all sorts of stuff. Rambo films. And I think this was underrated. It is underrated. It did not get the respect I think it deserved when it came out. It does not get the respect it deserves nowadays. And I think this is an awesome as hell film. Maybe that's how I'll title it. Awesome as hell. Or just plain awesome. Or just awesome. I don't know. I'll title it somehow. Just awesome. That's all. That's what this movie is. It's awesome. I give it, yes, I love it that much. Just like Hard Target, just like a bunch of others. I love it that much. To me, it's what action films are to me. That's what I want action films to be. Badass motherfuckers. And this is a badass motherfucker. The character's a badass motherfucker. The movie's a badass motherfucker. I can't praise it enough. But yeah, feel free to check out my fan commentary for those who want to, or my 52-minute review from 5 years ago for those who want to. Feel free to check out Craven's video. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we will see you later. Bye-bye.